share my screen. I will keep a lecture shorter today. Let's do one thing because people don't have much power now. I will do 1 hour and I will take, don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. So I can finish in over June all lectures. Is that fine?
Yes, ma'am. Till mid-June we can cover, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So I had finished. If you remember, I had come to. Can you all hear me? I'm very sorry that last 2 days had to postpone because there was an internet problem in my house. Since the lockdown, there's been a lot of issues with internet. Anyway, so I told you about Birch, right? I was teaching you about SUI's treatment, right? So I told you about Birch. Now I'm going to go ahead after Birch. Okay, now. So as I told you, Birch should not be done in intrinsic sphincter deficiency. You can only do it in stress incontinence with hypermobility. Correct? And Birch ka problem kya hota hai? One of the problems with Birch is that when you do Birch, you're raising up the bladder neck. It becomes an abdominal organ. Correct? So if you're doing the Birch surgery in intrinsic sphincter deficiency, what happens is the bladder neck remains open and the leak can worsen. Okay, so in SUI with hypermobility you can do it, but current meta-analysis has shown that it's inferior to retropubic slings. Like TVT sling, both subjective and objective cure rate is lower, right? It's got Birch can has around 27% rate of de novo urgency incontinence, and around 13% risk of enterocele formation because you're raising the bladder neck towards the pubic symphysis. So what happens is that there is space created backside, right? And that's how you can have enterocele formation. Also, the increased chance of obstruction in Birch because you're raising up the bladder neck. Now let's go on to, I won't show you these slides here, sorry. Okay, next is bladder neck, retropubic bladder neck or pubovaginal sling. Now what is this is that when the first slings were done, they were not done with synthetic material. They were done with autologous fascia, right? So what is autologous fascia used? The autologous fascia used for either rectus fascia or fascia lata, correct? Now I know people have asked me to show surgeries. Today I won't show surgeries. I will finish the lectures and then I'll show all the surgeries. Is that fine with you all? Huh?
Yes, ma'am, you can do that.
Because surgeries will take more, internet.
Yes.
Even I have internet issues today since a few days. Okay, now in retropubic bladder neck, what you are doing, right? You are putting a sling there, and that sling is basically an autologous fascia sling. It can be rectus fascia or it can be fascia lata. Okay, a piece of rectus fascia or fascia lata is fashioned out, correct? You're getting around 10 centimeter size fascia, 10 centimeter long, and around 1 inch, 1.5 inch wide. Okay, you fashion that and you place it like you're doing any sling surgery, right? From at the level of the bladder neck. You don't place it mid-urethral, you place it at the bladder neck, right? Now, why? Now the difference between this surgery and the TVT and TOT sling surgery. Now, what is the difference? The sling you place at the bladder neck works by causing compression. Okay, it will cause a little bit of obstruction, and you will use it in intrinsic sphincter deficiency. You won't use it in pure hypermobility. Why? Because when you had intrinsic sphincter deficiency, the sphincter is not working correctly. The bladder neck tends to remain open. You want a little bit of obstruction at the level of the bladder neck. TVT and TOT don't work like that. They don't cause obstruction at rest. It's only when you cough, mid-urethral, they'll compress the urethra. But a pubovaginal, and it's also called retropubic bladder neck. Why is it called retropubic bladder neck? Firstly, it goes the way TVT goes, right? If you have the urethra, the TVT goes like this, correct? This sling also goes like this. It is actually a retropubic sling. So pubic symphysis, retropubically, it is going up to the pubic, above the pubic symphysis, anterior to pubic symphysis, right? No, sorry, proximal to pubic symphysis, correct? It's a retropubic sling. It goes like this, but it's a level of the bladder neck, right? So it's also called a pubovaginal sling. So you do it in ISD because you want it to have a little bit of obstruction, correct? So when do you do this? You do this in previous failed incontinence procedures. Okay, so you've done a TBT sling, TOT sling, burst, doesn't work. You do a pubovaginal retropubic sling. Also, you do it in patients who have got immobile urethra, right? So, for example, a patient coming to you after radiation, cancer surgery, correct? Or radiation issues, right? So, what will happen is that sometimes urethra will be like a pipe stem urethra, like immobile, it is open, and then you want a little bit of obstruction. So, you do it in bladder neck. So, you do it in ISD, you would do in pipe stem urethra, open in the bladder neck in patients who are following radiation or any other cause, right? And you will do it for previous failed incontinence procedures. And overall long-term cure rates have been reported to be 85 to 90%. However, and if you look at the systematic review, they have clearly shown that pubovaginal slings are as effective as mid-urethral pubic slings. Only that they have more storage issues. What do you mean by storage issues? Of course, when you put in a sling at the level of the bladder and neck, and you're putting it such a way it's going to cause a little bit of obstruction, then of course it will have more storage symptoms. Meaning, what will happen is that there's a little bit of irritation that happens in the bladder and neck, and that bladder neck irritation can cause urgency frequency. You understand? Because, and it can also cause obstruction. So the voiding may be a problem. They may not completely empty the bladder. Remember that. So increased storage symptoms. Remember in the first lecture I told you, start using words like storage symptoms, emptying symptoms. Storage symptoms are like a bladder while storing should not have urgency, frequency, nocturia. Those are storage symptoms. So they tend to occur more in pubovaginal slings because when they are obstructing at the level of the bladder and neck, it can cause a little bit of irritation. And that irritation reflects as urgency, frequency, nocturia. Also, it can also lead to a little bit of dysfunctional voiding because when you're obstructing at the level of the bladder neck, if you obstruct a little too much, it can cause voiding dysfunction. Are you all with me? Any questions?
No, ma'am. No questions.
No question, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You're understanding, right? These are all little, I'm always a little worried. Am I teaching you at much higher level than you need?
No, ma'am. You can continue.
Yeah. Okay. Who said you're awesome? Thank you. I didn't see who said that. Okay. Next we will come to mid-urethral slings. So I told you that mid-urethral slings are used. Why? The whole concept of mid-urethral sling is that if you remember the integral theory of Petros or Umstead, the basic thing is your pubourethral ligaments at the level of the mid-urethra are not working, right? These are hypermobile urethra. The pubourethral ligament that's supposed to hold it like this is not holding it properly. It becomes weak. Pelvic floor is weak. So when you cough, laugh, sneeze, it's not supporting the urethra and you leak. So what do you do? You put in a synthetic mesh at the level of the mid urethra. It mimics the action of the pubourethral ligament when fibrosed in place. Now you can have TVT, which is a retropubic sling, right? The sling is going retropubically, meaning the sling is is kind of the urethra is like this, and the sling is hugging it in the U-shaped manner, and it is going behind the pubic bone all the way up proximal to pubic symphysis, right? That is a retropubic sling. So you can put it, and the retropubic sling is also called a transvaginal tape sling, TVT sling. So when Umstead and Petros came out with the sling, they first came out with a TVT sling. But later on, gynacs decided that they didn't like TVT slings. Why? Because you need cystoscopy. And then Delorme, 1995 and 2001, you don't need to know the times. 1995 around was TVT and 2001 around was TOT. Now, because you do not want to do cystoscopy, and there was this whole thing that TVT can cause bleeding issues, TVT can cause, there can be, blind passage through the bladder, you can cause injury. Delorme came out with a transobturator sling. So the sling, instead of lying this way, is lying transversely and going through the bilateral obturator foramina, right? Into the obturator membrane and hitching in place. So that's the whole concept. Basically, both the slings work by dynamic compression. Now, what do you mean by dynamic compression? At rest, it is lying nicely against the urethra without compressing. But the minute you cough, laugh, sneeze, the sling tends to obstruct. You getting me? Now, after all is over, I will show you an ultrasound. That is not a part of, nobody won't ask you this. No one in the country is doing this. That's my research work. I will show you an ultrasound, but later on, next lecture, how it looks when it's obstructing, right? That was my research work, and I teach it internationally. So those protocols I'll show you. I don't have to remember any of it, but it will be good to know how it looks in the patient, like live patient, how the sling obstruct, when you cough, laugh, sneeze. I'll show you later. Okay, now, this is all the guideline you need to know. One second. Yeah. So these guidelines are what you should know. European guidelines, and you just know this much. Okay. Very importantly, mid-rectal sling inserted by either the transobturator or the retropubic root provide equivalent patient-reported outcome of 5 years. There's 1A evidence, very good evidence that at 5-year point, both are equivalent, transobturator and retropubic. Okay, this is EUA guidelines. Okay. However, at the 8-year point, retropubic slings have higher objective patient-reported cure rates at 8 years. Very important. At the 5-year point, both of them are equivalent. But at the 8-year point, retropubic sling, the TVT sling, has higher objective patient-reported cure rate. Objective is, what do you mean by objective patient-reported cure rate? Objective is different from subjective. Subjective is, yeah, you ask, खांसी में leak हो रहा है क्या? हाँ हो रहा है. That's subjective. Objective is a measured leak. Either you're doing a cough stress test. I told you, what cough stress is. So you're doing a cough stress test in front of you, and you're objectively demonstrating the fact that they've got leak, right? So if you do an objective cough stress test at 8-year point, retropubic is better than right? Also, what I'm saying is, now very good thing that's happened is that now you have beyond 10 years data. Long-term analysis show a sustained response. Or the sustained response is better with TVTs and TOT. Remember that. Okay. Now, what are the main complications with the retropubic root? That there can be a higher intraoperative risk of bladder perforation, right? Because you're going blindly when you do TV. And don't worry, I'm going to show you all the surgeries. So one day we'll have a surgeries lecture. Today it's going to be a little difficult because the internet is very patchy. It may not play properly. When I'm showing it, it may not play well for you. So I will. I'm going to get a different internet line, so I'll show you that. Right. So when you do a retropubic TVT sling, because you're going blindly behind the pubic bone, then you can go through the bladder if you're not careful enough, right? But you can, but it's not a problem for people like me who are trained urogynecologists. It is not a problem at all. I'm so used to perforating the bladder. That is one of the most forgiving organs on earth. In fact, I did my OBGYN, and then in the OBGYN, the main thing we were like, oh my God, bladder injury, bladder injury. And when I went to urogyne, it's like bladder, you keep opening the bladder, there's no problem at all. Bladder is the most forgiving organ, right? So when you put in the TVT and the, the inserters, the needles go through the bladder, you just take it out and put it again in. You can perforate twice, both sides, and the holes will fill up on their own. You don't have to stitch, etc. Anything. Bladder is the most forgiving organ. Even if you make a mistake and you suture it, you can suture the most sloppy way. It will still heal very nicely. So the fact that there's an intraoperative risk of bladder perforation for a urogyne like me, I'm not too worried about that. Okay. However, it's important to mention it, right? So for you all, very important to know that the one big complication of retropubic root is higher rate of intraoperative bladder perforation. And also because TVT is lying, can you see me? 1 second. You all can see me now? 1 second. What's happening? The funny bit is now when you're teaching now and I can't see you all now, it's very funny. Yeah. So, the sling is lying like this, right? TVT sling. A TVT sling which lies like this is always more tight than a TOT which lying like this. Just seeing the vector thing, right? If I've got a sling, like if I have this is my urethra and I've got my sling lying, can you see better like this or like this?
Yes, ma'am. This one is correct.
Huh? Anyway, so I mean, you have the urethra like this, and if I have a U-shaped sling going like this, right? U-shape. that sling is going to be tighter because it's just the direction of its insertion, as opposed to a sling that lies like this, transobturator. A transobturator sling tends to lie more lightly against the urethra. So you have more voiding dysfunction of a TVT sling than a TOT sling after fibrosis occurs. But experts like us, we see the problem with TVT and TOT na, tensioning na, when you do the surgery, I'll teach you and I'll realize that you tension the sling, right? I mean, you are trying to, yeah, after you put the sling in place, you're ensuring that it nicely sits snugly against the urethra. Now, that's an expertise you develop with time, correct? Like how snug should it be, correct? Which patient requires more snugly? But overall, for somebody like me, I can make a TVT looser also. But overall, TVT is always tighter than TOT, correct? Because the way it lies. So it has higher rate of bladder perforation, a higher rate of voiding dysfunction. Because tighter it lies, the more voiding dysfunction can be there, right? After surgery. Now, the TOT route is associated with higher rate of groin pain than the retropubic route. Very important. Now, the TOT, which has got a mesh going all the way, you have the mesh going all the way till the obturator membrane and through the muscles. Correct. The previous ones, they used to have these slings called Monarch sling, which is now no more in the market. There are a couple of slings like that. Like Indian made slings are like that. Lotus Volcanic Indian made sling, which you should never use. Sorry to say this. One of the most worst materials. Anyway, but all of those slings are transobturator. They have a mesh going all the way till the muscle and obturator membrane. So what happens is that it pulls. When you're lying, when the sling lies like this, it tends to pull the muscle centrally. So it can cause a groin pain. And that groin pain is quite bad. I mean, if most of them recover, or that one patient doesn't recover, will be your friend for life. She'll come and eat your brain lifelong. Correct? So, because TOT has a higher rate of, groin pain, they came out with these TVT Abrivo. There are new slings, and I'm going to come to that later on, but let's just finish this bit. There are newer slings in the market where instead of having a mesh going all the way to the obturator membrane, there are threads at the end. The mesh part is smaller, and the mesh part lies near the urethra, and the remaining part is a thread. So that the part going through the muscle is not mesh, it's a thread, a protein thread. So that there's no groin pain. So that's one modification they came out with. It's called TVT Abrivo. There are different ones in the market, but the ones most commonly used in India is TVT Abrivo. Okay, now when you put in a TVT tape sling, when you do TVT sling like this and it's lying like this, I can insert the tape from below up, okay, or I can insert tape from above down. Okay, got my point? Like when I'm inserting, I can do top down insertion or up down insert, down up. Correct? There is no difference in efficacy. At the 9 years point, whether you do up down or down up, the efficacy is the same. Correct? So no difference. Okay. However, when you do top to down, you have higher rate of voiding dysfunction. Okay. When you're doing from below up, I can tension easier. When doing above down, you have higher rate of voiding dysfunction. Is it clear? Any questions till now?
TUT Bravia.
TVT Abrivo. I'm going to show you. Abrivo. See this. I've written it there. Ma'am, your voice is not audible. Oh God.
No, ma'am, it is audible. It is perfectly going on.
Gauri, my voice is audible. Gauri can't hear me. Gauri, are you? It's sad, yeah.
No, ma'am, it is audible. You can tell.
We try and put this so that I'm more audible to you. Any questions? Okay.
Why voiding difficulty?
Why voiding difficulty in about downward? Because when you're putting it from below up, the tensioning becomes, like far easier, I think, than from down. I mean, from down, tensioning is basically on tensioning, nothing else. The reason why it can be more voiding difficulty in above down, but no one is going to ask you this. I don't think any of the people who teach you will do above down, because Spark no one does in India. Like many of these are not available in India. Okay, how does it cause groin pain is a question. Now, TOT, when the mesh goes all the way to the operative membrane and muscle, it can pull the muscle. And when it pulls the muscle, causes groin pain. That's why TOT can cause groin pain. That's why to prevent groin pain, they've come out with TVT Abrivo. It's called TVT Abrivo. Basically, it's called TVT Abrivo, so not TOT Abrivo. TVT Abrivo, but it's still actually a TOT. The word is different. Okay, understood? Pooja Gandhi. Yeah. Okay, now let's start. See, you need to stop me and ask me, okay? Because all of these points, every point in this thing is important. What works, what does not work. And let me tell you why I'm saying this. Because what I'm teaching you is the latest evidence. A lot of your examiners are not going to be in tune with the latest evidence. So you should be able to quote European guidelines. Okay? Because in the country, the problem in the country is this, and you should be aware of this. Most of your examiners are going to be the ones who do TOT. Very few people in the country do TVT. It's only me and Anita Patel who do TVT. I do TVT because my ultrasound work has clearly shown that when you put in a TOT, it tends to shift proximal. Okay, and that's too much for you. But I find TVT is something that I can control better. TVT is definitely better in ISD patients. TVT is definitely better in severe incontinence. TVT is much better in younger women, right? So I tend to do TVT. Okay, but most Indian doctors tend to do TOT because they think that's simpler and there is less bladder perforation. That's why some questions are being asked. So please be aware of the fact. But then facts are facts. European guidelines say this. So if you quote European guidelines, say 2018 European guidelines clearly says at the 8-year point, TVT is better than TOT. No one is going to dispute your thing. Okay, one question was asked is type of mesh use. I'm going to come to type of mesh. Okay, TVT, Abrivo and mini sling are not the same. Mini sling is a different kind of sling where you have only they're different meshes. Yeah, mini sling won't cause groin pain. I'm going to come to that later on. You can call a TVT Abrivo mini sling. Basically, don't use the word mini sling as well as the fact that basically in TVT Abrivo there is no there's a thread at the end and that goes through the muscle, so there's no groin pain there. Okay, now let's look at the next slides. Yeah, now one very important thing is this. One of the reasons I like TVT is that it's got the longest evidence. Okay, now this is 11. This is one of the seminal papers in International Urogynecology Journal. You should be able to quote it. Very nice article which says very clearly, look at this. It came from Finland, sorry. So basically they followed up 90 women for around 11.5 years. Okay, and they look at the cure rates, right? If you look at the subjective cure rate, it is 93%, correct? If you look at the cough stress is 95%, right? Total cough stress is an objective test, and subjective cure rate is 93%, correct? And 93% had PVR less than 100 cc. So the results are very good for TVT, right? And they followed up the same patients at 17-year point, either clinic visit or telephonic interview. And 78% of these women were evaluated. Again, look at the success rate. 90% are objectively continent and 87% are subjectively cured. So this is excellent results. So when I am putting in a sling a younger woman, I like to put in a TVT because I know I have 17-year evidence for it. The problem is a lot of TOTs are now TVT Abrivo is like it's coming like say for example 8 years ago it doesn't have more than a 5-year result, whereas I have TVT. With TVT I have got 17 years evidence, right? So that's something very important for me. I mean, especially when you put in a mesh, you're putting in a foreign body in a patient, correct? I'm going to come to type of mesh later on. it's an extremely important thing what kind of mesh you put in, because once you put in, and my ultrasound work has clearly shown me that once you put in a mesh, the problem is that your urethra is only 3 centimeters long. The minute I put in a mesh, I've distorted anatomy. I don't have a chance to remove it. It's very difficult. Second time round never works. And people think TVT and TOT are so easy surgeries to do. They start, doing it left, right, center. There's a whole this thing of, teach one, like learn one, do one, teach one. It's not like that, right? People, for some reason in India, there's a lot of emphasis on cutting, right? The word cutting. The problem is, it's not just about cutting, it's about patient selection, doing the right, picking up the right patient to the right surgery in. And then when you put in the TVT or TOT, doing it with the right principles and right patient. Otherwise, you can have a lot of errors. And I'm going to do that in the next lecture, right? One very important thing you must understand is this, right? Now, almost all papers which say TVT is equivalent to TOT, unfortunately, what has happened is that they are looking at pure, genuine SUI, meaning ISD has been excluded and mixed incontinence has been excluded. You getting me? So if you are not looking at mixed incontinence patients, if you're not looking at ISD patients, then TVT is actually equivalent to TOT. Remember that. So whenever you say TVT is equal to TOT, always say that it's basically in patients with pure SUI, meaning with no ISD and no mixed incontinence. Even in the 11-year results, these were actually not seen. ISD patients were not seen. Now, the problem with ISD is this, that ISD is one condition where there is no successful sling. That's the problem, right? Even with TVT, I will not get more than 80% success rate, correct? But it's very clear that when a woman has ISD, because TVT causes more obstruction and it's more tighter than TOT, it works better, correct? So subjective cure rate, both short and medium term, is better for TVT than TOT. Okay, objective cures are similar, but of course you have more post-op voiding dysfunction and de novo urgency or urgency incontinence because of the fact that TVT is tighter. However, the main important thing to remember is that if you put in a TOT, there is a higher chance of undergoing repeat surgery in the long term after 5 years. So when you have ISD, TVT is definitely better. So whenever you say TOT is equal to TVT, always qualify and say in patients who have got pure SUI without ISD and mixed incontinence. In ISD, there is no debate. TVT is 100 times better, right? I mean, 100% better. So in garden variety SUI, both approaches have the similar outcome. But in ISD, TVT is better, correct? One very important thing to remember, and this is very, very important because you're not going to be just giving exams, you're going to go on and do these surgeries. Remember one thing, your retropubic area, we gynacs are familiar with because we do births, we do so many surgeries there. Retropubic area mein kuch bhi problem ho gaya, you have hematoma, we can go and actually operate there. The problem with the TOT is that TOT seems very easy to put in. I'm going to show you surgeries later on how to do TOT and TVT. But if you look at the anatomy, I have been involved in 3 surgeries where we tried to remove a TOT because the patient was in immense pain. And it's the hardest thing to do because that particular area no one operates in, because the transoperative sling will go through adductor longus, magnus, the groin muscles. And there we gynacs don't operate, the orthopedicians don't operate, no one operates in that area. So actually removing a TOT is very hard. You literally have to kind of, in the midline, make an incision on the vagina, go down to the level of sling and slowly trace it down till wherever you can get it. And then you go into areas you've never understood, correct? And it can be very hard, takes long time, correct? Okay, so do you do TOT for all SUI patients? Very important. And you follow guidelines. You will have examiners who will tell you that they do TOT for everybody because they will quote evidence and tell you TOT is equal to TVT. And you can tell them that TOT is equal to TVT only for pure SUI. And you do TOT for all SUI patients? No, you have to individualize. Very important. Okay. And there's an editorial in the International Urogynecology Journal which clearly states that you have there's enough evidence, both midterm and long term, that when you look at reoperation rates, TVT is always more durable. Even the European guidelines say that, right? 8-year point, TVT is better. Okay, how about the new mini slings, right? Now, what are mini slings, right? These are all slings which are smaller amount of mesh. You can call a TVT Abrivo a mini sling, no problem. But the problem with mini slings is, now these are all single incision slings, right? Basically, what you go in and you do not have another, like you don't have a exit point, right? Into the, like in TVT and transubturative, you're coming out. In TVT, you're coming out above the pubic symphysis. In TOT, you're coming out from the groin area. But in single incision sling, you just have one sling on the, one incision on the vagina. Now, do not, they're not going to ask you much on sling, single incision sling, beyond the fact that, remember one thing, that even Cochrane reviews clearly states that there's not enough evidence for any one single incision sling, because problem is they've come so late in life, they've come recently, so there's not much evidence behind it. The only thing you should remember is that every single incision sling has a different fixation point, correct? So you cannot just club everybody's evidence. The problem is, na, India makes sling banega, America makes sling banega, UK makes sling banega. They're all not equal. Just because one sling TVT Abrivo का result अच्छा है, उसका मतलब नहीं है you can go and use another single incision sling. Why? Because its fixation may be a different way, right? So how do you do a single incision sling? You take a incision in the vagina, and I'll show you all those surgeries. So once I show you, it will become very clear. Then you kind of, you have an incision in the vagina, and you're going, I suppose this is the incision in the vagina, you're going around it this side, and you're hooking it up. Now they're hooking it up, you're not coming out, you're hooking it to the obturator membrane or whatever, and there are different fixation ways of doing it. Remember, one single incision sling is not the same as the other, correct? So as of now, you should always stick to either TVT Abrivo or TVT, correct? The other ones you should not be doing, okay? And unfortunate thing that's what happened is there was a single incision sling called TVT Secure, which had a lot of complications, and it got taken out of the market everywhere in the world. And most of the evidence single incision sling is on TVT Secure, not on the latest ones. Yeah. Now, laser, right? You must be hearing about, how many of you have ever heard laser and all of those things? I think you go and attend lectures, no? Conference, etc. How many of you heard? Any questions till now?
Yes, there are questions.
Oh, there are questions. Okay, chat. 1 second. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Guidebooks mention best test for SUI TOT is better than TVT. No. Every guideline, that's what really worries me, that when I hear, and I'm telling you evidence and I'm telling you the right thing. TOT is equal. There's no book, there is no one who says TOT is better than TVT. TOT is equal to TVT in pure SUI without ISD and mixed incontinence. Okay? If you don't have ISD being intrinsic sphincter deficiency, and if you do not have mixed incontinence, TOT is equivalent to TVT. It's not better. Your guidebooks are written by people who are not urogynecologists. Sorry about that. Correct? Now, I'm going to come, role benefits. You know what? Yes, can you write, Minal, Dr. Minal? When they ask these questions, some of the questions I will answer later on. Correct? So I will tell you about the mesh. Pelvic organ prolapse, I will tell you later on. Correct? Can you write down these questions? I'll only write it down. 1 second. Problem is that when I can't copy paste it.
Ma'am, can I read the question?
There's a question that's asked: role, benefits, risk, and types of mesh in pelvic organ prolapse. DNB question. I will answer that in later on.
Yes.
Write it down the question so that I can answer later on. Okay. Another question is, ma'am, in ISD, TVT better only subjectively and similar rates for objective cure rate for both. Is it the final conclusion? Ma'am, please repeat the final take in which yeah. So basically, subjectively, TVT is better than TOT. Objective cure rate tends to be similar for both. But durability, more important thing is durability. Reoperation rates are more in TOT than TVT. Okay. Heard a lot about lasers, horrible. I'm going to come to that. Now again, see, another thing is very important, and you're all third MD Gynax, right? So I can say this to you. Unfortunately, our field is too industry driven, correct? Most of the people, very few people are trained urogynecologists. And unfortunately, even if you do 2 months of some fellowship somewhere, you can be called a urogyn, correct? It's a very different thing to get fellowship trained in it and actually know what is useful and not useful. Unfortunately, what's happened with laser, and I'm sorry I'm saying this, I don't know any other way of saying it. Problem with laser is that laser does not really have much evidence backing it, but it's very easy to use. And industry has come in majorly. And if you realize laser is not being used by trained urogyn, tell me one trained urogyne. I know some one or two are doing it, but rest of us are not doing it because there is no evidence for laser in SUI. It is very clear that laser helps only in mild SUI. But in mild SUI, I don't need to do anything but biofeedback. No, I do hardcore biofeedback. Biofeedback and electrical stimulation, my physiotherapy is non-invasive. Why? And it is much cheaper. One sitting is 2000 rupees se kam. 1 hour ki sitting. 10-12 sittings ho jata hai. It's much cheaper than a laser is 50,000 rupees and beyond. 3 sittings or so. It's expensive. No one knows the long-term results. I have seen in Cleveland Clinic, laser came to the United States much earlier than it came to India, right? So when I was doing my fellowship in Cleveland Clinic, we used to get patients with stenosis. People had used laser for vaginal rejuvenation, left, right, center, correct, in the US before it came to India. And we used to get patients with stenosis, etc. Right? So be very careful. The latest evidence and if you look at all international bodies, they have sounded a warning sign against laser. Okay. Okay, I'm going to repeat about TVT and TOT later on. Somebody asked me to again repeat. So I will tell you that. Okay. Yeah, I'll just finish with laser and then I'll tell you this. Right? So laser it is very, very clear. What they are saying is you need future trials. The quality of all studies saying laser is okay in SUI is very, very pure. They cannot be considered an alternative pelvic for physiotherapy. In mild SUI, just biofeedback. In my practice, 70% of my patients don't require surgery because biofeedback works really well. It is 30% who may require surgery, and that 30% will not be helped by laser because laser doesn't work in moderate to severe SUI. So it is very clear. If you look at it, US FDA has issued a warning against unsubstantiated advertising and use of energy-based devices. They've clearly said you need more clinical trials. And that is what you should say in your exams. Just because some examiner is using laser does not make it correct. Correct? Okay, now again now mixed incontinence. Again in mixed incontinence, reoperation rate is higher for TOT. Okay, so TVT is good enough in mixed incontinence. In recurrent SUI, TVT is better. So again, I'm going to repeat everything because somebody asked me that, right? In pure SUI, that is, these women don't have ISD, they don't have mixed incontinence. TVT is equivalent to TOT. You can do either based upon your expertise. But if a woman has ISD, TVT is definitely better. The objective cure rates of TVT for ISD is far better than that for TOT. However, subjective cure rates, sorry. The objective cure rates are similar. Subjective, TVT is better than TOT. However, reoperation rate is much higher in TOT than TVT. That is why I will do TVT in ISD patients. Correct? Laser, you need more evidence. It works in mild SUI, does not work in moderate to severe SUI. In mild SUI, I only need biofeedback. Why will I do laser? It's even more non-invasive, right? Mixed incontinence, TVT has lower reoperation rates. But you can choose either of the two, but remember the reoperation rate is higher in TOT. In recurrent SUI, TVT is better. Correct? Recurrent SUI patients tend to have immobile urethra. And TVT is always better immobile urethra than TOT. Very immobile urethra, I will actually go and do a pubovaginal sling, that is next sling, because I want to obstruct a little bit. Is it okay? All of you understood? Please say yes or no.
Yes, yes, ma'am. You can go ahead. No questions, ma'am.
The students, right? Yeah. Yeah. Now, remember one thing, that some of your examiners will think differently, but if you talk very confidently and quote the European guidelines 2018, no one will able to, uh, all that I taught you. If you know that really well, no one can argue with you. I go to conference and say this, and no one can argue with me because I'm backed by evidence and backed by experience, right? So please understand that, right? Okay, now SUI with prolapse, right? Do you want me to take SEO with prolapse in the prolapse lecture? I think I will do that. I will take prolapse and then I will talk about occult incontinence. That is when I talk, because prolapse and SUI is another big category by itself. So when I finish prolapse, remind me to talk about SUI with prolapse, right? Okay, now I will not show you this is the ultrasound machine, ultrasound of the sling. I will show you that also later on. I want to show you that as clips afterwards, but I'll finish the more important things for you first from the exam perspective, right? So just to finish the picture, we also have transurethral bulking agents. Okay, what is transurethral bulking agents? Basically, these are agents that you inject either through the cystoscopy, uh, uh, through the urethra, or paraurethally. At the bladder neck, you will inject a bulking agent. So if your urethra is like this, basically, if your bladder neck is like this, you will inject bulking agent. You will put in the cystoscope and you will inject bulking agent through the mucosa. You will inject it around the bladder neck. So your bladder neck is mucosa is opposed. Okay, it's like a bulking agent. Okay, you want me to show the slide of European guidelines once again? I'm just showing it to you. Here. These bulking agents, one of them is available. The silicone one is not available. What I use in the US, silicone macroplastic is not available here. The silicone one is going to come to the market in India. I think Contigen is available in India. There's a collagen based one that is available in India. Next time remind me, I'll tell you the name of the branding. The collagen one is available in India. Okay. No, Kelly Stitch has 40% failure rate. Somebody asked me, should you do Kelly Stitch during pop repair with proven SUI? Kelly Stitch has 40% failure rate. If I have a patient with prolapse, I'm going to teach you that prolapse is SUI. Okay, what are the needle techniques? You do not do needle techniques anymore. Pereira, STEMIs, these are all outdated now. So nobody does that. Okay, patient gets voiding this difficulty after sling surgery. How do you manage? Yes, I'll take a lecture on that. That's a big lecture on it by itself. Okay, I'll take a lecture on that. Meena, Dr. Meena, please write these down. Questions? Will you write it down?
This chat box will be saved, ma'am. So I'll do it then.
Oh, okay, okay. Then if you're saving the chat block, why don't you send it to me? I will know what to teach then. Hello?
Yes, yes, ma'am. I'll do that. I'll send it.
I will, don't worry. Each one of you, every question you ask will be answered. But I want to do it in sequence, because otherwise what will happen is, no, I will go, it will become a wild goose chase. Right? And some of these questions have long answers. I don't want to go into that answer and then lose sight of what we have teach today. Because then once you have in your clear, if you have, do you have long questions and all of those things?
On the SUI, there is a long question, ma'am.
Huh?
On the SUI, there is a long question.
Exactly. So I don't want to go into wild goose chase. If you can like understand this very well and write it properly, then I'm giving you that sequence, Spider. So I will teach you afterwards. You're avoiding difficulty thing. Kelly stitch basically, no. Kelly stitch is basically normally when you do anterior repair. Okay, I will take micturition reflex also. I will take another lecture on micturition reflex. Long question in SUI and micturition reflex. Okay, I will do that. It's a very interesting lecture. I like the micturition index. It's one of the most, micturition reflex makes you believe in God. It's so beautiful. Every time you pee, you're doing a miracle in the body. And how it works. Anyway, Kelly stitch. Kelly stitch basically nothing but no. Normally, when you do anterior repair, you will start. You will start just below the bladder neck. You will not go above the bladder neck, right? So you will go below the bladder neck. But when you do Kelly stitch, you will go beyond above the bladder neck, above in distal to the bladder neck, right? So you will go distal to the bladder neck, and you will take sutures of the pubocervical fascia distal to the bladder neck on the urethra. Okay. Detrusor hyperreflex and dyssynergia. I will again teach you that later on. So that's another lecture altogether. At least 10-minute question that I'll take 10 minutes of that. Write it down, Dr. Meenal. Okay, you said it's going to get saved. So I'll take again this like the difference between detrusor hyperreflex and dyssynergia. First of all, the question is framed so badly. There's nothing like detrusor hyperreflexia. And detrusor dyssynergia is also another, there's no term like there's DSD. I'll teach that later on. Can you actually give me the exact question they've asked you? No, nobody can ask you such a question like a detrusor hyperreflexia. No more that term is used also. But I will tell you what it is. Are you all okay with this?
Yes.
Shall I go ahead?
Yes, sure, ma'am. You can go ahead.
So Kelly stitch basically is I'm going distal to the urethra, bladder neck, and I'm taking sutures of pubocervical fascia on the urethra. So the urethra is supported by pubocervical fascia coming on it. It's got 40% failure rates. Okay.